Welcome folks to this tutorial where I'm going to be going through some of the processes of how I created this cyberpunk scene. So as you'll have seen from the previous video, this is essentially the scene that I created. I've just sort of gone into game mode in Unreal Engine. You can see here, so basically I've got effectively 1, 2, 3, 4 facades, you can see there, and I've got some lettering which I've used some emissive lighting on, and I've got some props like ducting at the top and some like telephone wires, things like that, like so. And there's a bit of signage. We've got this kind of building, this kind of, I don't know what you call it, but this kind of super enormous skyscraper with sort of circuitry on there. And then you can see there we've got the hovercraft that are kind of flying over the top. Now it's not animated at the moment, you can animate it in the scene, but they're just static at the moment. And then we've got the cars, fairly basic really. They're just some shapes that I created in Maya, which we'll go to shortly, but and I put some different materials on there as well, so I can put the emissive lighting on those. And that's pretty much it really. And we've got a bit of flooring here. But I just wanted to kind of show you effectively how I created these objects. It didn't take a tremendous amount of work to create the buildings, and well, that's the next bit we're going to come on to anyway in the next scene. So yeah, I'll see you in the next part, folks. So welcome back, folks, to the next part of this tutorial. So I'm just in Maya now. So essentially, these are all the elements that I used in that video. So we've got here this facade. Now, these I'm going to sort of talk to you a little bit about how I sort of created those a little bit later. But they're basically created from photographs. I didn't really do much manipulation. Well, I didn't do any manipulation in Photoshop. I literally dragged it off the internet and modelled from it. You can see there's like a little bit of sort of stretching, so it was done relatively quickly, and I just extruded out, but I'll come to that shortly. You can see there I've got another building there as well, so I basically just extruded parts of the building just to kind of give it a bit more sort of three-dimensionality. Ditto with these buildings. This is actually 2 buildings. This lower part here I dragged from one photo. You can see there. Then I kind of put the 2 together, and then this belongs to another one there. And I just again, I just sort of extruded those. For the big kind of buildings, the colossal buildings in the background, it's just a basic shape. I didn't even do a UV on it. I just literally created the shape, dragged it. I messed around with it a little bit. So if you go here, go to the UV editor. See if I just go to shell. You can see there, I just dragged it on, rotated it around, put it on there. So again, all done relatively quickly. Now the reason I'm showing this to you is that, you know, just for those of you out there, if you wanted to kind of create a scene in a relatively short space of time, it can be done, and you can get the results that I got in the video. Certainly, there's more work that can be done there, and there's plenty of stuff that's that you can add to it. But if you wanted to create a scene, I mean, for this, I was doing this off and on. Where are we? Sort of last week, off and on. But if you condensed all the time down, I probably did the entire thing probably in a few days. I did it at a leisurely pace. It didn't take that much time to do at all. For the other parts I've got here, this kind of telephone line. that you see sort of draped, or power cables that you sort of see draped over the buildings. We've got some ducting here that I created. That was just from extruding, using this tool here, sorry, the curve tools. So basically created this shape here using the CV curve tool, and then I used a NURB primitive with a circle. And so that was for that shape. And for the lettering, oh sorry, yeah, there's the well, I'll come to that in a minute. But the lettering, that was done using mesh tools and create polygon. So basically, I just got some lettering, some Japanese lettering, and drew over the top, extruded it, and that was it, really. So again, all very kind of minimal stuff. Again, here I've got some Japanese lettering. This sign that I've got, this kind of neon dragon. That again was done pretty quickly, just basic geometry. I've got a sign here, like a Japanese Coca-Cola sign, and then we've got this geisha character here. You can sort of see it's a geisha. She's got some chopsticks in her hair, with the fan in her hand. Again, that was done using the using this tool here to create polygon. And then yeah, just got the road, which is fairly basic. I just created a plane, and I extruded it, and then gave it some shape, and then went into vertex mode and kind of played around with it that way, doing all this kind of stuff. So again, all pretty quick. I didn't really take a great deal of time. I wanted to kind of get some quick results. I came across this technique, from a colleague. I do believe it's fairly commonplace. There are some channels on YouTube who kind of go into how to do it. So if you're familiar with Maya, you'll know how to kind of do all these bits and bobs here. With the using the polygon tool. We've got the car again. It's just really basic. And again, if you've got some basic modeling skills, you can do this. I did isolate some of these parts. So, for example, here, like these, I could have basically went around these edges here, like so, and then basically created a new, assigned a new material. That's just so I could drag and drop the emissive light on there. So again, that was relatively simple to do. Very basic. I mean, nothing apart from that. For the flying cars, all I did was I just took the if I just go to mesh and separate. There we go. So for the flying cars, I just basically took these out, and that was it. And then just had those kind of flying along. So again, all very quick. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch on the thing to do with the buildings. Now, again, I just wanted to show you this in case you're not familiar with it, because it's a really cool way of getting some very quick results. Tell you what, we'll go back down to the grid. Just press F. Right. So you can see there, it's just taking on the material of the sign. And I'll just expand that out. So if you wanted to, say, create a building, what you can do is first of all, I'd say knock out all the subdivisions. So basically go to polyplane and just take all these down to 1. And then just assign a new material to it. Something like a Lambert will be fine. And then to this Lambert, we're going to basically put on an image. So if I just go to File, if I just go to File there, and then go and find a file, and hopefully I've got something just knocking around. Could it be something like that? So let's go with that. Yeah, old building. click open, and basically you can see it there. It's just kind of it's sort of stuck it in there. Now you can play around with this, so I could basically select this by going to face, and we'll do something like planar, just so it kind of takes a grab of it, like so. And then if you go to UV editor, you'll see it there in view. Now if you need to kind of play around with it in whatever way or adjust it, then of course you can by just moving around this way. Again, this isn't like the ideal way of modeling, and I'm sure there may be some people out there who have seen this video and kind of going, that isn't the way that you do it. And yeah, maybe so, for people who are like very experienced Maya modelers. But if you want to kind of get some quick results, either to kind of just do a little scene, or, and this was one of the primary reasons I initially did that scene, which then evolved into a little kind of Blade Runner-esque scene with all the kind of flying cars, is it was really as a prelude to then doing a screen grab and then putting it into Photoshop and working into it. So that was the idea initially behind it. Just to kind of, in a sense, it's kind of like an extension of photo bashing. So instead of just getting photographs and kind of arranging them in Photoshop, actually build the scene in Maya first, put a little bit of kind of creator models out of the photographs, and then sort of export it. But then it kind of evolves and turned into this video, and here we are. But so yeah, so you can. So I don't believe there is really necessarily any right or wrong. If you from a creative point of view, it's like whatever you get the results. That's the main thing. Can you put stuff like this into a game engine? Well, yeah. I mean, that's where you might come a little bit unstuck, because if you're wanting to kind of create like sort of AAA game level, then yeah, you probably you're probably good to sort of spend a bit more time, perhaps not necessarily go down this route, although, I don't know. I mean, technically, if you just, wanted to kind of get like a game together, but, perhaps you don't have, perhaps your programming skills are stronger than your artistic skills, but you can basically get something like this and model it, put it into a game, then why not? I do welcome comments, on the channel. So if anyone's kind of looking at this, I do welcome it. If you've got any other kind of ways of doing this. But I'm just thinking, for someone who kind of wants to get quick results, why not do it this way? Just for a little kind of game. But obviously, if you're going to work for a big company, then yeah, chances are they want you to kind of model it, put proper textures on it using, combination of say something like Quixel Suite or Substance Painter and things like that, and actually build it from the ground up. That's fine. But the reason I'm showing you this today is just simply how you can put a cool scene together in a short space of time. Anyway, there's my little disclaimer. So yeah, so I put the photograph in there, and then I'm going to go to object mode. Now this is where you can basically use, I'll just get rid of that for the time being. You can use the multi-cut tool, and you can start by, if you hold down Control, and you can start to put in where you're going to need to do your extrusions, right? So again, I'm doing this very, very quickly. It's not, it's actually kind of how I did it really before. I just wanted to get the result, so this is how I did it. It's pretty simple, really. So, so yeah, something like that. So we've got that for the windows, and then we've got this little kind of alcove there. So again, we could probably, just use, again, it's not. If you zoom in a little bit, let me just go to that. If you zoom in, yeah, you could play around with this, and we can do. We could have a little play around and just get it looking a bit more precise. But let's say, for example, just for the purposes of this video, we'll go with that. And again, we've got a little kind of window ledge thing there. We're just gonna do that. And sure, there's all these other like recesses, but you if you want to spend a bit of time doing that, you can do. And then I'm just going to create a bit of extrusion from there. So once you've got that, it's going to go back into object mode. And again, if you want to kind of check, you know, if you're actually on the money there, you can see there, rotate Z. You can make that -90, just so you know that it's absolutely, you know, bang on. And then when it comes to doing the extrusions, you know, just simply go into the face and shift and just select all the different windows like so. Control E, and then we can just sort of push those back like so. Yes, you'll get some stretching. Now, if you want to spend a bit of time, what you can do is you can select those, go to planar, click on that, and then basically you can just put the, if you go into the editor, so just for example, if I go, say, planar with that, you can see there now it's chosen, like I think pretty much the entire building. The cool thing you can do is, if you go to UV editor, if I now go into, to UV and UV shell, so I've got that isolated, you can see there it's full size, not a problem. So what you can do is you can just reduce it down. You can see it changing on there. And if I just zoom in a bit, then basically what you can do is you can just play around. Yeah, like so. So now you've got the brick there, and it's not looking so stretchy, right? I mean, I'm not going to do it for the entire thing, but you know, if it's something that you want to kind of have a bit more of a play with, then just do that. And it doesn't matter if you've got all these UVs overlaying, it's not going to interfere with any of it. So if you've got like literally all these different, like the ledges and things like that, all overlaying on top of each other, it's irrelevant. It won't interfere with the overall picture. So we'll put that little recess in there, and then you can do other things like, for example, I could, again, we'll just bring this out here. So isolated that bit there, Control E, and again you can sort of bring that out, so as if it's kind of like, you know, you've got this, we're near the roof now, so it's just kind of overhanging. And then we could do the same thing again, this front part here. Again, I'm just holding down Shift and clicking, Control E, and again just bring this out. So again, it just gives it a bit more of a bit more dimension. Yep. And then we've got these little window sills. So again, what you can do there, you can bring these out. Again, just holding down Shift. Oh, let's do this one there. And there as well. Oh, okay. Let's try that again. That's better. So I was pressing the wrong key. So that one's there, and then holding down Shift, click on that. So when you've got all the faces selected, Control E, then you can bring these ledges out like so. So these little kind of window sills. Yep. And then finally you've got this little alcove thing here. Control E. And there we are. And then hey presto, if I just go, oops, if I just go into object mode, you can see there now. I mean, how cool is that? You know, and if you were going to sort of try and, you know, model that, paint it, you know, using something like Substance Painter or using, you know, Quicksilver Suite, you know, something like that, Quicksilver Mixer, it's going to take a long time. You know, but if you're thinking, well, I want to get some concept art, I want to be able to kind of model it, put it into Unreal Engine, light it, export it, put it into Photoshop, work on it. Why not do it this way? You know, you don't necessarily have to start from the ground up with this stuff. And again, if you're concerned about things like stretching and stuff, then do what I did before and just isolate it, go to UV, planar, and then just do what I did before. Yeah, so you got your and again you could even just overlay it on that. It's irrelevant really, because it's not going to interfere with the UV on that. So anyway, I mean, that's pretty much it with that. That's how I kind of created the buildings effectively. The lettering I've told you about before using the polygonal tool. I'm sure you'll find some videos using the polygonal tool, but essentially using the extrusion method you can just have a play around with that. But the end result is that all you need to do then is, once you've kind of created all your different objects, along with all your ducting and all that, export them all out as FBX. Give them all names, put them in a folder. It's probably a good idea for you to do, and then import them all into Unreal, and you can arrange a scene. I would say do it just under normal lighting before you do anything. Apply all your emissive lighting and all your different textures, and of course you can use the textures that are in the Unreal Engine, of course. And if you're familiar with Unreal Engine, you'll know how to do that. And the road, I think I did that pretty much there. And you could do, you could take a bit more time on the road. You could put some, get some decals. You could even go on to the Megascans on in Unreal Engine and get some, like potholes and things like that, and really, do a little number on there, or not, as long as you kind of get the scene. And that's pretty much it, really, folks. If anyone wants to know how to, to do the animations, it's really simple. But if you want to, you can find some other channels, I'm sure. If you want me to do a video on that, by all means, I'm happy to do that. I could even use the same scene and just show you how to do it and how I created this effect. But I didn't want to make this video too long. It's quite long enough as it is. But I just wanted to kind of give you a little sort of sneak peek behind the scenes of how I sort of created this, and I was quite, I was quite proud of it, really. I thought, was in the time that it took to create it, it was pretty mind blowing, really. To kind of create something that kind of looked pretty slick, and I could put some animations in there, and have this little scene. With all this kind of lighting, and of course I'm a huge Blade Runner fan as well. So it's probably the first time I've not the first time I've created a little kind of cyberpunk scene, but actually created something in Unreal. So so I was very excited about it. But anyway, if there's anything you want to know, or any other videos you want me to do around this, whether it's the animation side of it or whatever, be sure to let me know in the comments section. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And until next time, folks, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye for now.